So strong and impelling is the desire for sexual contact that people freely run the risk of life and reputation to indulge in it, said Napoleon Hill many years ago. You've probably heard of well-documented accounts of prominent people, especially men, who have let this powerful emotion lead them to do things that brought their offices, positions, and reputations to disrepute. And of late, the Health Secretary here in the UK has now entered the history books as one of those people who has fallen victim to a lack of control of this very powerful emotion. History is littered with the accounts of politicians, clergymen, celebrities, and ordinary people alike who completely lost control of this emotion and desire, and in doing so, have wrecked their lives, so to say. Today's episode in this podcast, Embolden, explores the awesome power of the emotion or desire for sexual expression, the sex drive, and how you can take advantage of it to enrich yourself rather than bring yourself to disrepute. That's coming up next. I am Sterling Libbs. Welcome to Embolden, the podcast. I believe that one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself is that of being true to yourself. Being authentically you and living your life the best way you can without pretending to be someone else or trying to please everybody in order to fit in or be accepted by others. Your journey to becoming more inspired and emboldened to live an authentic and successful life starts right now. The sex drive is one of the most powerful stimuli of the human mind, very close to the survival instinct, the desire to live. There is obviously nothing wrong with either of these desires. After all, the Creator himself programmed them into humans and the animals alike. He obviously put them there for a reason. The desire for sex expression is the most powerful of all human desires and a very strong stimulant of the mind. And because of the limited knowledge most people have about the sexual desire, the state of mind created by this powerful emotion is generally associated with the physical act. Sex has very constructive potentialities. Humankind, for example, would not be perpetuated without it. Extensive research by leading institutions and professors have led us to believe that sex is very good for the maintenance of health. As a therapeutic agency, it has no equal. The sexual emotion is also a great stimulant, and when driven by it, one gets very charged up for action and feels powerful. And because the sex drive is so powerful and basic to human existence, information about sex is very popular. The media has homed in on this, and the sex industry, arguably one of the biggest, is a great money spinner. Countless books, magazines, newspapers, radio broadcasts, TV shows, films, videos, tapes, etc., and dedicated sex shops are linked to the sex industry. I do not need to elaborate on this fact, because everyone knows that sex is big business all over the world. And here's the sad part. This divinely programmed urge has been corrupted and abused by mankind down through the ages. All sorts of sexual perversions are on display all around us. You don't really have to dig deep or do extensive research to notice it. However, and you had better sit down for this, it turns out that this mighty emotion and stimulant can be redirected by switching the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. The thing is, the emotion of sex contains the secret to creative ability. Destroy the sex glands, whether in man or any other animal, and you would have removed a major cause of action. And you can prove this by observing what happens to an animal after it has been castrated. A bull, for example, becomes as docile as a cow after it's been castrated. Whether in beast or human, destroying the sex glands alters their hormonal balance in such a way that the fight that was in them is all taken. The sex drive is there for a reason. And when harnessed and redirected along other lines, the positive attributes of this powerful desire has the potential of being used as a power for creativity in a profession or calling. You can channel your sexual energy to works of literature and art. You can also channel it in physical workouts in a gym to develop a strong body and muscles. Redirecting your sexual energy in these ways is a process that Napoleon Hill called sex transmutation in his book Think and Grow Rich. In that book, Napoleon Hill went further to say that the transmutation of sex energy calls for the exercise of willpower, to be sure, but the reward is worth the effort. The desire for sexual expression is inborn and natural. The desire cannot and should not be submerged or eliminated, but it should be given an outlet through forms of expression that enrich the body, mind, and spirit. If not given this form of outlet, through transmutation, it will seek outlets through purely physical channels. A river may be dammed and its water controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. The same is true of the emotion of sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but its very nature causes it to be ever seeking means of expression. If not transmuted into some creative effort, it will find a less worthy outlet. Fortunate indeed are those who have discovered how to give sex emotion an outlet through some form of creative effort, for they have, by discovery, lifted themselves to the status of genius, said Napoleon Hill. People are influenced in their actions, not by cold reason so much as by feelings. The creative faculty of the mind is set into action entirely by emotions, not by cold reason, and the most powerful of all human emotions is that of sex. There are other mind stimulants, but none of them, nor all of them, combined can equal the driving power of sex. I remember when I was in my 20s and highly sex-driven, my safety zone was the gym. I used to take my sexual energy and use it to sculpt my body in the gym. And it worked. I didn't find myself messing about with ladies, though the temptation was ever present. And most people also used to remark on how amazing my body looked. It was also at the same time that I started writing blog posts, of which this very episode you are listening to was put together. I learned the art of sex transmutation, and it kept me out of trouble. I channeled that energy into other worthy causes, Like I said before, the subject of sex is one which most people have limited their knowledge and interest just to its physical expression. The urge for sex has been so misunderstood, exaggerated by the ignorant and ill-informed for far too long, so much so that the very mention of the word sex triggers all sorts of suspicions and raised eyebrows. It's almost like a taboo that you don't talk about such things, and yet secretly they love to indulge in it. The sex drive should be used intelligently and with discrimination. It should not be used to such an extent that it debases rather than enrich both body and mind. And the key to ensuring that that doesn't happen is to avoid intemperance and practice the art of sex transmutation. Intemperance in sexual habits is just as detrimental as intemperance in habits of eating or drinking. Overindulgence in sexual activity may lead to a very destructive habit and may well be as detrimental as narcotics in hampering your creative efforts, because you will be misusing your creative energy by overindulging it in sex. Uncontrolled sexual desires, expressed indiscriminately, have the potential to wreck your life and sabotage your dreams and success in life. If you are one of those people who happen to have been endowed with a high sex drive, I would like to talk to you for a minute. Listen, there are so many other ways you can use your sexual drive than just in the way people are accustomed to. You can channel it creatively to enrich yourself and the world around you through art, literature, sports, music, etc. Don't be one of those people who will be numbered in the history archives, private or public, for failing to control their sexual appetite, and subsequently go down in history with shame on your back, not for being highly sex-driven, that's okay, but rather for misusing your sexual drive. I am sure you can do better. Look, the sex drive is there for a reason beyond its use for physical sexual activity, and you will do well to learn the art of sex transmutation to redirect that sex energy to more edifying ends that will enrich and not debase yourself. You will be glad you did it. Avoid situations and circumstances that have the potential to exacerbate your sexual appetite and cause you to put it in unprofitable use. Things like pornography and flirting around, etc. Don't go there. Enough about the sex drive. I hope you found this information useful. I am Sterling Libs, and you have been listening to Embolden, the podcast. If you liked today's episode, be sure to click the like button. Share it as well, and also follow or subscribe to this channel so that you can continue receiving more content like this. And I want to personally thank you for taking the initiative and having the bravery to step into the space of awareness and authenticity, not only for yourself, but also for the benefit of those around you. I am glad you tuned in today, and until next time, be sure to take good care of yourself, and I look forward to hosting you again here to another emboldening conversation. Have a good day.